Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cowboys StoryLine. I'm Nick Eatman here. It is Thursday, May the 9th, and it's a big day here at the Star. It's the first time the rookies will be here for the start of a mini camp, which begins officially on Friday, but the rookies are here, just getting here as we speak right now, 1 o'clock Central Time, and on Thursday, and they'll be here, doing some of their, it's kind of an orientation type thing. They'll meet with some of the trainers. The draft picks won't be signing really, but they take physicals, especially the undrafted free agents. They'll be signing their contract and all that. So there should be 20 of them, 12 undrafted free agents, 8 draft picks, and then there'll be a handful of other workout guys just here on a tryout basis as well. So you'll see some of those names trickle through in the next few days. But the big ones will be the rookies, the draft picks. They'll be here, and they'll be getting a chance to. We'll get a chance to kind of talk to them, maybe get some stories on the website for them. Tomorrow, Friday, will be the day they'll be on the field a little bit. Have some press conference from Mike McCarthy. Have open locker room both Friday and Saturday. So football, they'll be back on the field for the first time for this off season. So that'll be at least fun to watch. And there not a lot of won't be heavy lifting practice there. And they're basically just going to be helmets and shells probably, but still it's on the field. It's better than nothing. So that'll be kind of fun to watch. All right, 888-855-2297 is the number to call. You can text at 817-290-3298. We'll take both. We'll start with calls, and we'll start with Irene in Virginia.
Hey, Nick. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, usually I don't pay attention too much to rookie minicamp, but I think it's a testament to this show that I'm, invested. And it's also funny, I don't feel as as positive, let's say, about our outlook this season, at least for now. We'll see how that changes.
Right.
The real test will be if we get 4 wins and see how I'm ready to book tickets for a parade. But it happens every year.
Yeah.
But it's cool to keep it a little bit more engaged with this show. I had a little bit of a thought. I don't know what the schedule is going to be like I know there's a break usually from all the podcasts for 4 or 5 weeks or so. So I was thinking if that's a good case with this, that maybe we could, like how we had the book club, maybe we all could commit to watching some of the Deep Blues and kind of having some commentary about that when we reconvene. That's what I plan to use. I've watched a few of them, but there are way more. There are way more than I have, and I'm like, why do I never make time for that anymore? I got to do it. So that's going to be what I want to do, and I think that would have lots of good stories.
It's good. That's a good idea. Maybe we should just stream them instead of doing the podcast. We should just stream them live again, and then and put them in those time slots there. And if you want to watch something, you can watch these Deep Blues.
Okay, I love that. That would be great.
Yeah, good idea.
Cool. So to answer Randy, I listened to the one from Tuesday. So I actually used to work concerts in Charlottesville, Virginia. So saw a lot of people come through there. Probably my closest celebrity, encounters would be escorting John McEnroe and Andre Agassi. They did some celebrity charity game over there. And then Jimmy Buffett was my favorite security detail ever. I was a part of a 5-person crew. He had this thing about laser pointers, and that's literally all we did was we would watch for laser pointers and make people stop so that he wouldn't shut down the show, because apparently he had done that in the past. I don't know what the deal is with that. Maybe it came from after he died. I read about the incident in Jamaica where they thought he was a drug smuggling ship and they shot at him. So I have a feeling it might have to do something with that, but I don't know. Anyway, and then thoughts on, I think you can talk about Zay Jones since he visited, right? So any thoughts on that? And I'll hang up and listen.
All right. All right. Thank you, Irene. As for Zay Jones, he did visit yesterday, Wednesday with the team. And the Cowboys also released Martavis Bryant from the practice squad. I'm sorry, not from the practice squad, just from the roster. There's no practice squad in the offseason. They didn't have to do that. I mean, so these are unrelated moves there. And Zay Jones is meeting with other teams. I think he's going to he's met with Arizona. I think maybe Carolina or Tennessee. Also is expected to meet with the Chiefs. So who knows what the situation is as far as signing him. I think it would be a good pickup. The last I remember watching him, he was torching the Cowboys in that game a couple seasons ago. So yeah, he would bring some speed, some playmaking ability to the table for sure. I still feel like it always comes down to money because he was released for money. His contract with the Jaguars, it was a saving money. So it'll come down to that, and I just feel like other teams will just have more to offer. So I'm not really expecting that. A little surprised about Martavis Bryant. They didn't have to do that. They had some spots on the roster. They just decided to make that cut. All right, let's go to Michael in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Michael, are you there? All right, Michael.
Yep, Michael in Bowling Green.
Let's go. What do you got?
All right, so number 15 says he's back to take care of some unfinished business in Dallas. And his first season, he had about 106, 108 yards per game. And his last season, he had 38. He went down every year from his first to his last.
Mm-hmm.
How many yards per game do you think Zeke will have? And how many do you think he'll need to have to carry the load, as he says?
To carry the load, I mean, it's all about how he does early on, and if he's going to be the guy and be the first few weeks of the season and kind of carry the load, like you said, I mean, you probably need to have, I don't know, 60 to 70 averaging. It's also you're going to be doing other things as well. You're catching the ball and also blocking, and so things like that. I mean, number wise, you have to be the best back. That's really what it comes down to. Are you the best back? Are you the best option? And if it's 25 yards a game, then that's not good for the rest of the guys, because if he's the best option, then he will be playing the most. So that's what it'll come down to.
So you think he's going to get about 1,200 yards for the season then?
He could, yeah, but that's not really what you asked. You did see. I'm not answering that way. What I'm saying is to be the guy first few weeks of the season. In order for them to say, like it was in 2018 when they said receiver by committee, this isn't working, and then we got to go do something else. So if it's bad, if he's 20 to 30 yards a game, 40 yards a game, or something like that, and he's your best option, then you better figure it out. You better try to trade for somebody, or add a little boost to the running game. But if not, I still think he can do it if he can. Staying healthy is the key. But
yeah, I think he's gonna get over 1,000.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be in the 50 to 60 yards per game. So I mean, I believe I just want to see what you thought.
I think he's still capable of it, but I mean, you're not. He's continued to go down, like you said, every year. That's not by accident. But it's also because he's not getting as many attempts. And,
right.
We'll see if there's anybody that's going to be better than him. I said it last show. I'll say it again. And I don't have the concrete answer here. I just think something is going to change with this position. This is not going to be the way it is all year. They're going to add someone, or somebody on this team is going to rise to the occasion that we didn't even expect. But I just don't think it's going to be Zeke as the leading rusher every single game. I just don't see that happening. So, but I don't have a good answer for you. It's like I don't know. It's going to be something. I just don't know what it is.
No, you answered. I appreciate it.
All right, Michael. Have a good one. Let's get to. I'll say this too before we move on. You know, I like the favorite wrestler, favorite movie, favorite player. I don't know if I like this is my story with a celebrity, because it's never quick. You know, it's not going to be, we saw that last show and all that. Randy's my guy, but those stories kind of dragged on a little bit. I don't know if that's actually a thing we want to really get down to, because these aren't going to be just quick stories. And I get it. It's May. I understand. We have time on our hands, but maybe if there is a story, it's got to be pretty quick like that. All right, let's go to Tim in Grapevine. Sorry, Tim, if you have some great story.
Good afternoon, Nick. I don't, but I saw the Tom Brady roast, and I kind of wish Jerry Jones would do a roast. The roast of Jerry Jones. And before people freak out, I love Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
I just think because of his story, and he's so funny, all of his Jerryisms,
yeah,
they're hilarious, and there's just a lot to work with there. I think it would be fantastic.
Well, you got to have thick skin. You got to be able to take it, And
absolutely.
And I think he definitely could. He could qualify for a roast for sure.
He's a good sport. I mean, would you be willing to ask him about it? I'm just kidding. That's probably not a good.
I wouldn't be willing to be one of the roasters. I'd be like, no, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Thank you. I'll just keep a paycheck. That's all good. Even though, like I said, he can take it. He can take it, but no one wants to hear what I have to say.
Oh, and then he would dish it at the end. You know that.
Oh yeah, he's going to bring it back for sure.
So I wanted to, and you may have already discussed this, and I know you guys probably behind the scenes talked about it, but this new kickoff rule, right. I'm fascinated to see, because I think it's going to evolve as teams get more data and they get more reps at it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the intention is good to bring back some excitement. The strategy is going to come from it. Who knows what it's going to look like? I'm just kind of wondering, what are your thoughts on it as of right now? And, do you like it and all that? And I'll hang up.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim. I actually do. I like getting the kickoff return back in the game again. I definitely like that. And I think we're going to see that. It's different because hang time means nothing anymore, And what it makes me wonder, though, this is going to be sort of like, when you think about baseball, tagging up at third. I mean, like, you're supposed to wait for the guy to catch it and then come home. I mean, like, that's going to happen where guys are going to take off before, the ball's actually caught. So that'll be an interesting dynamic there too. But I feel like you're going to just see some players in the open field a lot more, and that's going to be exciting. I'd like to see, Turpin get a chance to do that. You just want to see more returns. So I think if you have a speedy returner, a dynamic guy like that, and I think, like you said, it might change to the point where, maybe it's not going to be the same type of returner as it was. Maybe it's more of a running back that needs to have really good field vision. And it doesn't matter so much about the speed and all that as it is just kind of getting there, getting it blocked, getting to the hole, being able to read that and go. So, this is a very unique play, especially to the NFL. And it'll be fun to see how this thing evolves over the years. But I like it because I've never really. I don't know. I've never liked the fact that it's just everything just gets kicked to the end zone, and it's just like, let's go. I mean, I remember the Super Bowl, was it the Bears and the Colts, and I think it was Super Bowl 42, maybe 41, and 41, I think. And so, and it was first kickoff for the game, Devin Hester's having this great rookie season. They kick it off and he takes it to the house, and I mean, that was just so exciting, such a build-up, and that's such a cool play. And then, most of the time, it just gets kicked out of the end zone. So I do like, from that standpoint, I do think you're going to see more kickoff returns, and that's a good thing. All right, let's go to Dylan in Northport, Florida.
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
How are you doing?
Good, man. I was watching Cars the other day. You ever see the movie Cars, kids movie?
Yeah, I have an 8-year-old son, so yeah, I've seen it. I haven't seen it today. I haven't seen it today.
There you go.
But
Well,
yeah, I have seen it. Yeah, Life is a
I
Highway.
was watching it.
Uh-huh.
I was watching Life's a Highway, exactly. I was watching it, and I'm like, Mater sounds like somebody, man. Who? It's Randy. Randy is Mater from Cars.
Exactly. I think I said that to Chris the other day, or to somebody. yeah, he does sound like Mater. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, man, I couldn't get that every time I heard him talk. I'm like, there's Randy. He's cool. Funny guy, though. I love me some Randy.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess just kind of a quick one today. I keep seeing on Twitter people keep talking about like the terms relevant and competitive, and they act like it's somehow contradictory to like championship football. Like the Joneses are okay with getting this team to like 80%, and they're just okay being done with their jobs because the team will be relevant, they'll win some games and whatever. But my philosophy is that to win championships, you've got to stay relevant. You've got to stay competitive for as long as possible. You're not going to have like an all-star team all the time. And so I don't think those terms are contradictory. I think it's important to stay competitive and to stay relevant. And I think if you do that long enough, you're increasing your odds to win the championship. I don't think you're going to build this like juggernaut team. And even if you do, the Cowboys had those kind of teams. 2014 was great.
Right.
2016, even though you had a rookie quarterback, rookie running back, that team was great. Like you've had some juggernaut teams, 2007, and you still lost. And those were kind of flash in the pan years. You didn't see the consistent playoff berth after playoff berth. I think now we're 3 years into this thing, 12-5, 3 playoff berths. Yeah, we've lost, but the roster is still very good. They've added some key pieces, and I think they're still competitive and relevant, which people will probably be annoyed to hear those words, but they are, and I think this is a team that could do some damage if they have some luck on their side, which is another important thing that people don't really want to hear, but you need a little bit of luck, So just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because you think about it when teams are like, well, let's just go for it. Let's go all in or whatever, and let's go for it. Well, if you're going to do that and you're going to play that way, then that means you are going to have the flip side of that when there's going to be times when you're not going for it. You don't have the resources to do it because you used it up over here. And I think to what you're saying, Dylan, is what the Cowboys have been trying to do here. And it happens when you have an 80-year-old owner and general manager, who, I mean, he doesn't want to have a year or two where it's not good, where, you always want to be there. You always want to have a chance. These games are too close. They're too close to have a team that just is not good at all. And who knows what next year is going to look like? Next year could be that type of team. I don't know. I mean, you're going to have to get some guys develop here, some of these young players that you need to count on, or you need those CD Lamb type jumps that he had from last year or the year before to last year. So you get a few of those, and your quarterback plays good, you stay relatively healthy, you can always have a chance. And I think that's what the Cowboys are trying to do is always have a chance. And I just don't know if fans necessarily understand that it doesn't always work. That the league is not designed for this to happen all the time. It's not designed for the Patriots to go, 15 years in a row of that kind of dynasty. It's not designed that way. That just shows how good that they are. It's usually a cycle here. The Rams did it. They went all in, and then the next couple of years they struggled some. But they actually snuck in and made the playoffs last year, and I think that's the type of thing the Cowboys are hoping for. Maybe not this year, but next season. Next season when it's going to be tough. The salary cap is definitely going to be a challenge, even more than it is this year. But this year I still think this team has a good chance to compete and go for it because talent-wise I think that they're as good as most teams, if not all of them. I think that they have a shot. And that's really all that you want. All right, let's go to Ray in Fort Worth.
That kind of dynasty, it's not designed that way.
Ray.
It just shows how good they are.
Yeah.
What's up, Ray?
Hey, so real quick, what schedule of the game? The schedule comes out next Wednesday, I believe.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah. What games do you want to be on prime time?
Well,
what's your favorite games?
I think, they're always going to put the Eagles and probably the Giants on there as well. But I have a feeling Houston's going to be a primetime game. Maybe even I could even see that on week 1, honestly. Just the way, try to get the Diggs matchup. I think Houston will be a game that you'll see in prime time. What about you? What do you think?
I think that one, but I kind of want to see. I think Cincinnati comes here, so
Yeah.
I like for that to be
Ravens
primetime game, maybe like a Thanksgiving kind of game.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see. And the schedule is going to be really difficult. I don't know if the Cowboys can run it back to win it, because it's been a long time since the teams won back-to-back division titles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a long time.
20 years.
So,
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You're going to have to get some of these guys that are going to – you're right. Some of these guys are going to have to step up if Dallas is going to make the playoffs, given their schedule. Their schedule is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Zeke signing. I'd rather just – like I told you last time, I like the guy that they had. You still got some guys out there. Dalvin Cook is still sitting out there. I think he has more left. I think Zeke's pretty much run its course. I get it. Cowboys are familiar with him. But I don't think Zeke will be the starting running back by mid-season. I mean, especially if you're going to use him early.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. But I'm excited to see what this defense is going to look like, what Zimmer's going to do. Yeah, I'm a big Michael Parsons fan. I'd like to see him put back at linebacker and not get bashed every game at defensive ends, because teams have figured it out. You just run at him. So teams have figured out to take him out the game. I think he's a big playmaker if he's playing back at linebacker.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you there. I think, there's a way to be creative about it where, he's still going to rush the passer at times. But in those passing situations, 3rd and 11, you want to run at him, cool. Because, we should have guys rally to the ball and make the tackle, and then here comes the punt team. So, which is what you want. So, yeah, I think that they have to, it's going to be a chess match every time. Are you running? Are you passing? Where's Micah going to be? You're not always going to pick right, but I think. I think there's Zimmer's working on this. All off season here. This is one of his top priorities, is to figure out how to make Micah Parsons awesome from week 1 to week 18. Not just early on, but the entire year. And I think that's the goal.
Yeah, and that's why the linebacker that we drafted was key. They didn't get a running back in the draft, but they filled, I think, really important holes, which is linebacker.
Right.
So that rookie linebacker is going to have to play a big role. I appreciate you.
Definitely.
Thanks for your time.
All right, Ray. He brings up the schedule. He says the schedule is brutal. And I'm always that way of where I'm kind of like, let's wait and see. I think Chris just put something up here too. Send me a message. last year, that's kind of what you thought too. And Rams, Chargers, Philadelphia, Detroit, Buffalo, Miami. Some of these were tough, but some of them weren't. There's certain things you can kind of expect. The Ravens are going to be good. That's the thing. I will say this about this year's schedule is that it's going to be tough, not necessarily like tough to win as much as it's going to just be a physical grind, just a tough game. And I said it the other day, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Browns, they're built that way where it is going to be a tough game against them. Detroit is tough, and the 49ers are tough. So hard-hitting teams. The Cowboys have to become that type of team too, and they've got to bring it and be a hard-hitting team and be able to withstand some of that stuff. And if you can do that, if you can play really good defense, sound defense, figure out a way to stop the run, figure out a way to run the football, then you're going to be in all those games. So it doesn't matter if you're playing a first-place schedule or not. If the Cowboys can also be one of those tough teams, then I think that travels week to week, and you have a chance to win and succeed every time. If you can be one of the tougher teams, you can't just get run over. Sometimes last year they did get run over, and that has to change. And I know that's why Zimmer's here to help change that. And we'll see if he can get it done. All right, let's go to Rob in Vegas.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Rob.
How's everything?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Weather's nice. Going to be about 90 next week. Summer's right around the block.
Here we go. Yeah.
You know, listen, I think the worst thing you could do in sports as an owner is be comfortable. I think, and let's be honest, I think the Jones family is too comfortable. Being relevant is important. Sure, you got to get to the playoffs, let's face it. But I think 25 years ago, Jerry would have been different, would have made moves, would have built on the team more, especially 12-5, 3 years in a row. He would have kept building. We talk about the Rams. Hey, the Rams went for it, won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They didn't really fall off that much. I don't think you fall off like you used to. It used to be, oh, my God, the salary cap, you're going to be in salary cap hell for years. Those days are over. They manipulate these numbers, and boom, the Rams were right back in the playoffs. So, unfortunately, I wish the Joneses weren't as comfortable, but that's impossible when you're worth that kind of money. I mean, and you haven't had a Super Bowl in 30 years. It's hard to change that mentality.
Hold on. Let me throw this in. Relevant is I think we're saying relevant, but we're really what that means is good, like a good team.
Well,
competitive to it, not relevant. It doesn't matter if you're on ESPN every night.
Those are two different things, though. Those are two different things. The Cowboys are always relevant when they're 4-12.
Yeah, they're always going to be relevant. I think what we're talking about is a good team, competitive, a good football team that has a chance to compete. I'm not talking about relative. You're always going to – if Stephen A. Smith agree, is on the air, you're relative.
Yeah, but I don't think I think the problem is you got to build on being competitive and take it to the next level. You got to be looking for the Super Bowl. You got to be. That's why I thought this year was so odd, thinking that we had a really good team last year. Just build on it. And for some reason, they don't look at it like we do. So I agree. Relevant is about the Cowboys will always be relevant, especially as long as Jerry Jones is alive. I'm talking about build, and that's why I think Dak Prescott is probably saying, why should I take less money? What are you going to guarantee me that the $5 million I don't take, you're going to invest it into the team? Because they show they don't do that. We've talked about it when they had the young Dak Prescott, the rookie, and like you said, the next year would have been a year, and they didn't. So all I'm saying is hungry, relevant. I don't think they're as hungry, but they'll always be relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I was talking about, I always wondered, and I want to get your feedback. If you could change one rule in the NFL tomorrow, what would it be?
Quarterback slide. Get that out.
I agree. I totally.
That would be that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Well, I say that the stiff arm pisses me off. Actually, I get mad when I see a stiff arm. That really does make me mad. When a guy is running with the ball and he just goes and just smacks a guy right in the face and he can't even see and he's trying to, sometimes he'll grab a face mask. I hate that rule. It's so hypocritical because you can't hit anyone in the face area in anything. You can't legal hands to the face on offense or defense. You certainly can't hit a quarterback. But for some reason, if you got a football in your hand, you can just smack a guy right in the face. That one bothers me. That and the quarterback slide. Go ahead. What do you got?
There are too many rules now that are interpreted by the refs. It used to be we knew a catch is a catch. The problem now is it's just like a boxing match. You get one judge scores it one way,
right.
Another judge scores, and that's how the refs are. So to me, I would give the coaches 2 challenges a game to challenge anything they want. I don't care what it is, holding. It doesn't matter. And if they win both, they get another one. Because pass interference to me is the worst penalty. It could be 90 yards if the quarterback could throw it that far.
Right.
And I think it's just it has changed the game. What do you see after every pass play? We're not even looking as fans to see if he caught it. We are looking, where's the flag? You see the guy the receiver jump up, making believe he's throwing a. So to me, you either go to the college rule with pass interference, which I think would be great, but because there's so many rules that the way they interpret it, that they hit the quarterback up high, defenseless receiver, which I don't even understand really what that is.
Yeah,
I would give a coach to challenge whatever you want. But the key is you cannot have the NFL review the calls. It has to be an outside source because, I'm sorry, they're not going to want to make their own refs look bad. It has to be somebody outside that's actually going to do the review, and I think that would be cool. And get these refs out of the
tricky.
game.
That's kind of tricky because, I mean, how do these guys? What do they even understand the rules? Do they know them?
Well, yeah, they could be ex refs maybe or ex. You know, they got to be trained, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I have a problem that New York is basically reviewing their guys on the field. Well, let's face it. If you kept turning them over, you're basically saying these guys ain't very good at what they do. And then sometimes they don't turn it over, and we're looking at it like, really? So I just think get the bias out, move it outside so nobody says, well, of course it's New York, whatever it is.
Right.
But to me, I would love to see that because we're never going back to the 80s football or early 90s football where it was just football. The refs weren't really involved as much, and it was just pure. It was just great.
All right. Good call there, Rob. Appreciate that. Let's keep it going here. Brian in Lakeland, Florida.
Hey, Nick. What's going on, my man?
How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Second-time caller.
Yeah.
First time I called, I really didn't get to go over my favorites, so I'll rapid-fire them real quick.
Okay.
Tony Romo was my favorite Cowboy, and it really started with the Bills' comeback game. From that point forward, I'm like, I'm going to ride with this dude until he's no longer our quarterback. Favorite wrestlers, I say the Hardy Boys made Monday exciting, but I think my favorite was, from the era that I watched at least, was The Rock. Which brings me to my favorite football movie. I don't know if you've ever seen The Gridiron Gang.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's your favorite football movie?
That is my favorite football movie, mainly because of the storyline. Like, I love hearing about what he did with the kids. Not The Rock, but the main guy, what he did with the kids.
Yeah.
And keeping them out of the prison system. And the final play where Junior blocks the two linebackers to steal the edge and get the running back in the end zone.
Yeah.
It's funny because my buddy Travis from San Antonio called and used it the other day, and I wanted to use it. I was like, he made that block because he's got an ass. And it's just one of my favorites because I love the story. But I did want to touch on one thing. You were talking about how the league's not designed for, to stay atop, to stay, relevant for this long. And honestly, like, in life, you're right. Like, I mean, I can remember 5-6 years ago when Jalen and Leighton Vander Esch had, like, their one good year together coming into that offseason. We were just like, man, we are set at linebacker for a long time. And then within a year or two, it was done. Like, they were no longer Leighton and Jalen. And, I remember hearing, even a few years before that, or when Dak was in the league with Deshaun Watson was in Texas. And they were like, is Dak even the best quarterback in Texas? Like, this is going to be a battle for years. And then, 2-3 years later, it's not even a battle anymore. Dak's still there, but Deshaun's not. So you're right. There's stuff that could be beyond your control, as far as the league design, but it really isn't designed to keep teams, relevant. And the Cowboys do a good job of it. But, at the same time, I can understand the frustration of being relevant, having chips at the table, and just never capitalizing, never winning.
Right. And that's the big question. Would you rather just, be good every year, always have a shot, have a chance, or be up and down? But when you are up, you're in the Super Bowl, and you're maybe winning the Super Bowl. And when you're down, you're down. So it's kind of like the way the Eagles have been, and I think their fans probably appreciate that more than the Cowboys fans that do. But but it's just kind of just a different mindset.
And I even thought about it too, like Washington years ago. I mean, before Dak and Zeke Elliott, it was RG3 and Alfred Morris. Like, these were going to be the next two guys for years, and I mean, it lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
And then Alfred Morris was still pretty good, but I mean, Dak and Zeke lasted longer than that. I mean, again, sometimes it's stuff that's beyond your control, and sometimes it's the way the league's designed.
Right.
But it is amazing that they've stayed relevant for that long when stuff is just can go downhill so fast. They can turn on the dime.
That's true. And then, and I'll be honest, Brian, there's not that many people that there's not as many fans that appreciate it the way you do. And I'm not saying that you're right or wrong. I'm just saying not everyone kind of appreciates it that way and looks at it that way. I think you're right. And because when you think about it, every year you want to get excited. Here comes rookie minicamp this weekend, and then there's going to be the veterans come in, and then training camp and all that. You want to be excited, and let's be honest, you just don't want your team to suck. You don't want there's nothing worse than September, and you're not going to have a good team. And that's what happens in college football a lot. You lose a game or two in college and you're done. In pro, you have some chances to get back, but you know early on if your team is good or not, and that's the worst feeling when you don't have it. So it's been a while since the Cowboys have really had that feeling. I thought even the 2015 season when they were 4-12, middle of the season, you still thought Tony was coming back. The whole division was terrible. You still thought, what, they might have a shot here. So it's been a long time since they were out of it way early.
And the reason they've been out of it the last 10, 12 years has always been major injury, like one major injury. And, now they're pretty much out of it. Not because the team wasn't constructed well. So I agree. But I appreciate taking my call, sir. And again, I'll try to get back again. Second-time caller. We'll try to get on more often.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Let's go to North Carolina. We got Jeff in North Carolina.
What's going on, Nick?
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Okay. Great. What's happening?
Not much, man. Chris was getting on me. He said, Jeff, I ain't heard from you in a while.
I know.
Well, I've been listening. I just ain't been able to call lately. But
yeah. Man, I really want to get you and Randy hanging out together, man. Yeah, if y'all two, I mean, I would just.
Yeah, he thought I was Randy when he answered.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, that guy's a character right there now.
Yeah, well, you're not too different as far as I'm concerned. So I probably ain't got into as much stuff as he has, but he's got some stories. That's for sure. Well, maybe you just don't share them on the air. But anyway.
Yeah, maybe so. That might be right. What happens in North Carolina stays in North Carolina.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask you. I thought the draft, I kind of liked our draft. I thought we done okay. I know a lot of people was upset about we didn't get a running back, but I thought we're going. Hopefully, we're improving. The things we struggled with last year was running the ball and stopping the run, and I think that's what they tried to address mainly in the draft, and I think they did that, hopefully, and that's where it all starts. But I know a lot of guys have been talking about the running backs, and everybody talks about Zeke and Deuce and Daddle, but nobody gives Malik Davis no love. He's had a few opportunities. He can make plays, but they just. I don't know. Maybe it's his pass protection, or something. But he never gets no love from nobody. Seems like. But I always thought he was pretty good too. So.
Yeah. I was a little surprised he didn't have a better season last year. I thought he was going to get more opportunities from what we saw with him as a rookie, and he's just one of those backs. He's kind of like Rico Dowdle when there's just not anything. I hate saying this because it sounds bad, but it's like there's just not like one trait that's extremely special,
Right.
And
right.
You got to be super fast or super quick or really strong or a great pass catcher or goal line back, something. And when you're just kind of decent to good at all of them, it's just hard to get on the field that way. So he's still around, and I mean he still has a shot. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe he's the guy that's a little surprising that he's got to get the opportunities first. But if he does,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I tell you what though, if we go into next year and they still think they need a back, let me give you a name.
Okay.
To be looking for, and you can ask Jesse about him. Omarion Hampton at the University of North Carolina. He'll be draft eligible next year, I think. And he probably could have come this year, but I think he decided to stay in school one more year. But he's got speed and power and good balance, and that'll be a name to look for in next year's draft if we're still looking for a back. So, but the other thing I was going to ask you about was the compensatory picks, and because I've seen what the projections are we're going to get, and do they have a formula for that? Because I think it's mainly fifth-round picks, and I thought, could we not even got a fourth round for Pollard? I mean, how do they figure that?
Well, we don't have that long of a show to figure out that formula, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Like, just think this, okay? Were you ever? What grade were you in when math was just like too much? Was it high school, like calculus or algebra? Just
algebra, man, killed me.
Okay, just think of the worst kind of equation. That's what it is. That's about the same as figuring that out. I've heard many people say that they'll cure cancer before they figure out the actual formula of that.
Right.
And I'm not trying to say making.
Well, I think they're projecting the Dolphins to get 2 threes for them 2 defensive players. I think that they lost defensive linemen maybe, and I thought, wow. 3s?
So it comes down to how much money these guys get, but also, and I still think it also comes down to how they play, because I was told that there was a shot the Cowboys were going to get a pick for Noah Brown, but then he kind of tapered off at the end. And so I think performance is part of it. It's money that you spend versus money that your guys got, which that would certainly help the Cowboys. But also there's a max of 4, and they're going to get the max. I saw that too, where they're going to get like 5th and 6th, maybe a 7th.
Right.
Outside shot for a 4, but don't even try to figure out the formula to that.
Nah,
because
okay.
the people,
that makes sense. And algebra. And algebra, that was my worst thing. I took it my freshman year in high school because my 8th grade teacher said, I believe you could do this. And so I took it, and I did my homework every night. But we go up the next day in class, and it'd always be wrong. I honestly believe the lady, my teacher, passed me just because I tried. Because I couldn't figure it out.
Maybe she just didn't want you in her class anymore. She's like, you know what? Let's just give him to so-and-so in sophomore year because I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, going forward after that, I didn't take algebra 2. I just took regular math. Got my what I needed to graduate as far as math, and I moved on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I took.
All right, my friend.
Took a test.
Appreciate you taking my call, and I'll try to call back
all right, Jeff.
more often. But you have a good day, man.
You too. All right, let's go to Ronnie in New Jersey. Let's keep it moving here. Ronnie, New Jersey.
Hey, how's it going, Nick?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Nick, I was listening to Rob earlier, and I'll be honest with you, man. I disagree with a lot of stuff that he was talking about with like the Joneses. Man, we had teams and that should have won championships. We had 2 teams at least with Romo. I love Romo. We had 2 teams with Romo that could have won a couple of championships, and they choked. We had a couple of teams with Dak, 16 and last year, twice. They choked. I'm sorry, and I know you don't like that word when you say that they choke, but the reality, they choke. For the big moments, for whatever reason, this team is like in their DNA. That's the way I see it. It's like in their DNA to until they prove us wrong, to choke. Because we had so far 4 teams that should have at least won once, at least twice. Not once, no, twice out of the 4 times. And they just didn't live up to the moment. We've had the team, we had the players, the coaching staff. You can't say the Joneses ain't putting in. They're not going out there. They're not playing on the football field. They're doing their best to put the teams together, and they're just not living up to the moment. Now, I wanted to ask you, Nick. Right now, there's so much stuff and talks about if they trade or we don't have. That's not the running back room. If you had a choice to trade for a star player, a dominant player, what would you trade for? A nose tackle or a running back right now, if it was up to you?
What am I
take the nose tackle.
What am I trading?
Let's say a 3rd round pick, 2nd round pick. What would you trade for?
Second and third is different, but I would probably, I'm not trading a second or third round pick to somebody to rent them. Okay, so I'm gonna trade for somebody that I could re-sign and keep for a little bit, just like you would a second and third round pick. So, in no position would I trade just so I could have a running back. I'm not trading for a running back that's in the last year of his deal, who's a pretty good runner, but he wants a lot of money, and then next year he's going to go somewhere else. I'm not trading for that. So I wouldn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Considering the contract, let's say there was you had an option right now to get one of the two, and the guy has maybe 2-3 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
Will you trade a third round pick for that?
Probably not. I mean, I maybe a third round pick, but it would have to be somebody that I think is going to be in the fold for a little bit, and it got to be a difference maker. And so, I think a defensive tackle more than I would say a running back.
That's what I would go for.
Yeah. And
thanks for listening. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call, Nick. That's all I wanted to hear.
Thanks, Ronnie.
What will you take? Thanks.
All right. And I agree with the first part about, I think the Cowboys have put themselves in position to win a lot of these games. I mean, and it just doesn't always happen. I don't use the word choke like that. There's a lot of teams that are good teams that don't win. They don't win at all. I mean, it's only designed for one to win. I mean, I don't think that the 2007 Patriots that went 19-0, I don't think they choked in the Super Bowl. I don't think so. That's not really a term that I mean, you lost, and maybe you were the favorite, but I don't use that word. The point is that these teams have been good, and the Jones family and Will McClay and the head coach, and they've got some really good teams that they have configured, and they just haven't won. They've gone for it though, and they're going to keep going for it. And so that's kind of what the mindset of this team has been. All right, let's go to Randy, Texarkana.
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I just figured I'd talk a little football this time.
Oh, you gonna talk football?
Might as well. Bunch of opinion stuff. I've been picking them up and putting them down this morning, so I have no idea what y'all been talking about, so I hope I don't go over the same stuff. But
I doubt it. You're an original. You're not going to copy anybody.
I'm going to try not to here, but this first one is, rinse and repeat, but Dak, the whole Dak thing. But now this is obviously my opinion. No one knows but the Joneses and Dak. But in my opinion, off of Dak's reaction on the interview, I think it was at the baseball game, at the batting game, when they asked him, how does it feel that the Joneses are saying they want you to be the quarterback, he kind of his answer wasn't exactly shining to me. So I kind of think the Joneses are telling the media what we want to hear just to kind of keep us, from acting up and saying that they won't act, they won't act. I kind of don't think they have any intention on re-signing him, honestly, and they're just trying to keep everybody happy because they know that they need Dak to play this year, and why go into the season having a disgruntled quarterback and saying all the wrong things in the media. That's just me because, that's my feeling on it. That's just me. And that's about it on that. You don't even have to respond to that because everybody's beating that one to death. But I would like to give Jake Ferguson some love.
Okay.
That's my guy. I think I'm really excited this year for him. I've liked him since he's come in. It's funny, whenever he was drafted, I really didn't know anything about him, but I've really liked his game and how he's come along. And if you want to compare him to another Cowboy great, this fella named Witten, the first two seasons, Witten went from a 300 and something yard up to a 980. That's about a 600+ yard jump. Well, Ferguson's was like 100.5 up to 700.5. So that's like almost a 600-yard jump. So the numbers are pretty close, and Jason didn't have near the receiving core around him to take the heat off of him. Now, Jake's got the receivers, to keep everybody busy. So the target might come his way. So if he can make that same kind of a jump to the third year, I mean, he could push 1,000-yard season if everything goes right. And he's got that attitude like Kelsey does.
Yeah.
I know everybody always wants to bring up Kelsey because he set the bar, and rightfully so. You know, he's the guy on top right now. So, and I like Kelsey. I don't. You know, honestly, I like the Chiefs as my AFC team. It's not a bandwagon thing. I just like them because they were the original Dallas Cowboys. You know, the Texans.
Yeah.
The Dallas Texans. So I just kind of always follow them. And but yeah,
I thought it was because you're a big Swiftie and you just like Taylor Swift. I thought that was it.
Man, I'm gonna get you canceled if I say what I really want to say.
Let's not.
There we go.
Get yourself canceled. All right. I think Ferguson. He has a little Kelsey in him. I don't think that's a bad comparison. I mean, like, you know, he's got a little something to him, and you know, don't try to like pull something, you know, past him. Like he's a good guy, just like Witten's a good guy. But you know, if it's time to, you know, throw it down, I wouldn't mind.
He is not scared at all.
No.
I mean, he will get in the face. And I saw one of your little, you know. By the way, I love the sideline audio that y'all do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I did notice that y'all only do it on the winning games. It's kind of funny how y'all don't put the losing games on there, but. Anyway, that's side point.
That is not. I'm gonna just tell you that is not my call on that.
Okay,
that is not my call. I think,
and it's probably a good thing. It's probably the right call. I'm just saying.
It probably is. It probably is.
Yeah.
I think you got to be creative, but it happens. But the numbers. If we were chasing numbers, we would definitely put some of those out there because the numbers are even crazier when you lose. But
true,
yeah.
but what I was going to say is Ferguson was on the sideline. I think it might have been whenever he took on a block. Somebody come after him. He caught the ball and somebody come after him and he laid him out. And he said, I don't remember the exact quote, but he said something about, he's messing with a big biscuit or something to that effect. You know?
Oh yeah.
You remember that,
yeah.
dude? That cracked me up, and instantly I was like, all right, I'm all in with this guy. If everybody wants to keep using the all in. I'm all in with this fella. He's pretty good, and I hope he sticks around, and I hope he keeps, you know, doing what he's been doing and just keep increasing his role. And like I said, he's got the receivers around him to take the focus off of him, so he's got a good chance at continuing what he's got going on.
Yeah, no, I like his game a lot, and he looks really complete. So.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, how are y'all doing? How's your mom and them?
Everybody's good. Everybody's good up there in Texarkana. Yeah.
That's good.
You know,
how about Chris? How's Chris doing?
Well, you know, he says he's doing fine. You know, I think he's good. He's good. Yeah, I got to be sending I got to send a card up to Texarkana. I got to be doing that quickly here.
Mother's Day, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right.
Well, guys, y'all have a good one, and I'll just get back with y'all on the next go-around.
All right. Sounds good, Randy. Good stuff. Let's get one more caller in before we end the show. We got Jonathan in Fullerton, California. Jonathan.
Hey, Nick. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How you doing?
Great. I finally got through. Congrats on all your success. You got all these callers. It's hard. It's been a minute since I was able to get through.
Nice. Well, we're glad you did. You're not a first-time caller, though, right? You've called?
No, it's probably like fourth.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Time.
Yeah.
Just want to jump in with guy movies. I wanted to give you two. One great one and one so bad that it's great. Snatch. Have you seen Snatch, Guy Ritchie movie?
Okay.
Fantastic. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. And Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
So ridiculous that I love it. But anyway, I just wanted to ask, who do you think, and cut me off if you already talked about this, who's the starting running back? Like, what do you think the lineup's going to be for the running backs as of right now?
I mean, I would think Zeke as of right now, but I still feel like I don't have the answer for you. I just think something's going to change, and nobody's told me different. I just don't think that it's going to be Zeke. If Zeke wasn't what, you know, wasn't going to be the starter 2 years ago. He wasn't going to be the starter for the Patriots. I just don't think it's going to happen this year. But I just feel like something else is going to surface. I just don't have the answer.
Do you think we have the room for, like, do we have to kick out someone in the running back room? Because it seems pretty full. So I don't know when it gets time to, like, the active season, like, how many running backs we're going to have room for. And also with the new special teams rule, we don't know, like, how many people we need in each position room and everything like that. And just another thought,
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to ask one more question, just say what position group gives you the most concern as of right now, and then what position group gives you the least concern for us as of right now.
All right. Sounds good. All right, thank you for the call, Jonathan. All right, which position group is the least concerning? Like safety. I mean, safety's not really a concern for me. I mean, you got depth there. Malik Hooker, and you got Donovan Wilson. I think Wanye Thomas is going to have a good season. I think Marquise Bell going back to safety is going to be good for him. He'll still play closer to the line of scrimmage like Jaron Kearse, but I think he'll be fine. I think Mukwamu, looks like he can, he might be able to help out as well. So I like safety. And the running back room would probably be the one that I would think would, I just think something's going to happen. I mean, I don't know. This just sounds, if you let's look at the running back room. I mean, it doesn't sound like a group of runners, like a rap group or something. I mean, you just got Snoop, Rico, Zeke, and Deuce. I mean, that just doesn't seem, it just doesn't seem like that's your backs there. They're fine. I mean, I know Malik Davis and there's some others, Hunter Lipke. I just feel like something's going to change at running back. So because I feel that way, that's the one I'm going with. Let's go one more call. We did get another caller in from Virginia Beach. Jonathan in Virginia Beach, and he will be the final call. Jonathan.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Glad I could get through. I called in before from a different area, but I actually moved my family down closer to the water, so I'm glad I could get back going.
All right. Well,
yeah, just had a quick question. Just a thought since the draft and everything. We had a good draft, I thought. My question to you is, do you think the mindset of being a Dallas Cowboy could potentially hurt our early draft picks? Like Tyler Guyton wanted to be here. His family's a big fan. Do you think that could be a distraction? And also not just as a rookie player, but older, like, established players. Do you think that coming here, do you feel like there's like a brand that makes you feel, like you don't have to be as hungry once you reach success with the Cowboys? I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, that mindset's good until the first time that you find yourself working on the scout team with the third team tackles as a first round pick, because you had that mindset. And really quickly, everyone can see right off the bat, you're not good enough to play left tackle. I'm just doing an example. You're not good enough.
Right.
And so now you're not going to be the starter. You may play some games here. You're not going to play much in the preseason game. So that's a pretty humbling experience. And all your family, all excited. Everyone's looking to come to the games. And you're like, yeah, I may not even be active. So that's pretty humbling.
Yeah.
And so that'll change you really quick and make you decide how much you really want to be a Dallas Cowboy. Do you want to be a player or do you want to be on the team? And so I think all that is good. I think it's a great mentality that the guy wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy, and it means so much. And you see his jersey and he's about to cry and he's got his helmet, his star on, because that means it matters. And if it matters, it all matters on Sunday. Make it matter on Tuesday when it's your day off and you're supposed to be watching film. Make it matter on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If it matters so much, like you say, and I'm not picking on Tyler Guyton, I'm just saying, if it matters like it sounds like it does, he'll make it matter to him and he'll be that left tackle. And if that's the case, then it's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
Well, the last thing is, with Zeke being back and being number 15, do you think that he can kind of tap into that old old Zeke against the Steelers in 16, running the screens for like 76 yards, or do you think we're going to see more of the latter Zeke when he was here, picking up first downs, getting 3 yards in a cloud of dust?
How long you been a Cowboy fan?
I would say I've started being a Cowboys fan in 2006.
Okay, good. Let me ask you this. Was Roy Williams better as a safety when he wore 31 or when he switched his last year to 38, which was his college number? Which one was he better at?
31.
Yeah. I don't think the number's I don't think the number turns back the clock a little bit. I don't. I'm not saying Zeke's not going to be productive, but I don't think wearing your college number in 15 is going to make you that much better. I think he's going to get some opportunities. I think he's trying to prove people wrong. But at the end of the day, I think he still needs some help. He needs to be a guy that has another back with him, just like he did 2 years ago. And that was fine. He had 10 touchdowns. He had about 800, 900 yards. He was fine. He just needs another guy. Don't know who that other guy is going to be. So.
Yeah, you're right, man. I appreciate you taking the call.
Thanks, Jonathan. Good stuff. Good calls for everyone. Got 12 calls today. Really good show. A lot of the I don't know if we didn't get any first-time callers, but we definitely had some of the regulars, which we love to have on here. So, all right, we will be back next Tuesday. I think that's right. Chris and I have not talked about that. But I do think we're going to be able to have the show next Tuesday. If not, we can check the website, and we'll let you know what the schedule is for the show. But I believe we'll be able to do our regular podcast next week. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you next week on Cowboy Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?